In 2023, a developer opened a code editor. In 2024, a founder typed a sentence into a chat box, and an app appeared. Two different visions, two different bets. $1 trillion question. Who gets to build software? In 2022, 4 MIT students, Michael Truel, Swale Asif, Arvid Lunemark, and Aman Sanga, started Anysphere. They had no grand pitch deck, just a conviction that the way developers write code was about to change forever. Their product, Cursor, was built on top of VS Code, the most popular code editor in the world, with over 70% market share among professional developers. They weren't starting from scratch. They were taking the best tool that existed and making it smarter. The strategy was deceptively simple. Meet developers where they already were. Don't ask them to change workflows. Just inject AI, autocomplete, chat, code generation directly into the environment they already loved. In 26 months, Cursor went from a free VS Code fork to arguably the fastest-growing B2B software company in history. 8,000 kilometers away in Stockholm, Sweden, Anton Osika had a different problem to solve. Not, how do we make developers faster? But, what if you didn't need a developer at all? Lovable launched publicly in late 2024. The premise? Describe an app in plain English. Watch it get built in minutes. Lovable hit revenue velocity that most startups never reach in their entire lifetime, in under 3 months, from zero to a $7 billion valuation. In roughly 18 months, 2 rockets, same launch window, very different fuel. Let's be clear, these are not the same product. They are barely fighting over the same customer. Cursor is an AI-powered code editor. It is for developers, professional, technical software engineers who already know how to code. Cursor makes them dramatically faster. Autocomplete, AI chat, inline diffs, agent mode that can write entire features autonomously. Lovable is a natural language app builder. It is for founders, designers, marketers, product managers, people who have an idea but cannot code. You describe what you want. Lovable scaffolds a full-stack web app. One is a superpower for people who already have the skill. The other is the skill itself. Now, let's talk about the numbers. Cursor, $2 billion in annual recurring revenue, 2.1 million total users, over 1 million paying users, 40,000 enterprise customers, 50% of Fortune 500 companies inside its orbit, 300 employees, generating $6.6 million in revenue each, a valuation of $29 billion, projected at $50 to $60 billion. Total funding, $3.3 billion, and a free-to-paid conversion rate of 36%, 18 times the industry average. Lovable, $400 million in annual recurring revenue, 8 million total users, 100,000 active projects every single day, 10 million apps created, 85% day 30 user retention, 146 employees, a valuation of $7.2 billion. Cursor makes money primarily from subscriptions, $20 a month for pro developers, $40 for teams. That enterprise segment is the engine. Corporate buyers now represent roughly 60% of Cursor's $2 billion ARR. OpenAI reportedly deployed Cursor internally. Shopify did too. When your product becomes standard equipment at tech's biggest companies, the revenue gets very sticky, very fast. But here's the uncomfortable reality underneath both of these businesses. Cursor is spending almost every dollar it earns on AI inference, mostly from Anthropic. At scale, buying intelligence and reselling it at a thin markup is not a traditional software business. It's a bet that gross margins will expand as AI costs fall. The question for both companies isn't just how fast can you grow, it's can you grow faster than your compute bill? Neither company exists in a vacuum, and the battlefield is getting crowded. Cursor faces pressure from all sides. GitHub Copilot has the distribution advantage of being embedded inside GitHub, the platform where 100 million developers already live. OpenAI launched Codex CLI. Google launched Jules. Even Anthropic, which supplies Cursor's AI brain, launched Claude Code, a direct competitor. Lovable faces Bolt.new, Replit, Glide, and a wave of no-code challenges. The deeper threat for both companies is the same. What happens when the foundation models get so good that a generic chat interface replaces specialized tools altogether? That's the sword hanging over both of their heads. Cursor got the distribution right. By building on top of VS Code, they entered the workflow of 70% of developers without asking them to change anything. They got enterprise sales right too. 50% of Fortune 500 companies using Cursor is not an accident. It's the result of a deliberate strategy. Let developers fall in love individually, then watch their companies buy in bulk. Lovable got the market insight right. They didn't try to make developers faster. They removed the requirement for developers entirely. Lovable isn't just serving the developer market, it's serving everyone who ever had an idea but couldn't ship it. That's a category-defining insight. Cursor's weakness is dependency. Roughly 100% of its revenue is built on top of models it doesn't own, primarily Anthropic's Claude. If Anthropic raises prices, restricts access, or competes directly, all of which are happening, Cursor's margins could collapse. Lovable's challenge is different. Its explosive early growth attracted scrutiny. Critics pointed to apps that broke under load, concerns about code quality, security vulnerabilities in generated apps, and whether vibe-coded software is enterprise-ready. For now, Cursor wins on depth. Lovable wins on breadth. Here is the definitive take. In today's market, Cursor is the winner. Cursor has a proven enterprise motion, 50% Fortune 500 penetration, and is approaching a valuation that puts it in the same conversation as generational software companies. It has converted 36% of free users to paying, 18 times the industry average. It grew from zero to $1 billion revenue business in 26 months. That has never happened before in B2B software. But here's the caveat that matters. Lovable is building for the next decade. Every non-technical founder who builds their first app on Lovable is a user who was never in Cursor's market. In 5 years, if AI-generated code reaches the quality that makes it truly production-grade, Lovable's 8 million users could become the most valuable developer community on Earth, despite never writing a line of code. The question isn't which tool is better, it's which future you believe in.